In this video, we're gonna take a drive down to one of the most anticipated communities in Central Florida, Sunbridge. We're gonna take an in-depth look of exactly what they have there. We'll take a look at base camp, the communities. We'll take a look at the homes inside and out to see exactly what you'd be getting if you were moving there. But before we do that, let's go ahead and hop over to the map to take a look at exactly where this place is.
All right, so just to give you a reference for exactly where Sunbridge is on the map, so you have downtown Orlando right here. You have the Orlando International Airport right here. And then, of course, the 417 toll road, which is a major part of life for all the residents over at Lake Nona, and most likely, will also be a major part of life for any other residents living over in Sunbridge. Let's zoom in just a bit closer here. So we have Narcoossee Road. This would be right where you'd get off to head over to Sunbridge and head over to St. Cloud. The map just a bit here. Here's Boggy Creek, which is that major divide between Orlando and St. Cloud, which also divides up Orange County and Osceola County. So I'll be taking you right down this route over into Cerrillos Drive, into Sunbridge. Okay, so this right here is the southernmost point of Narcoossee Road. And we're heading over towards Boggy Creek, which is kind of it's a border essentially from Orlando over to St. Cloud. So, and it's also a border for Orange County and Osceola County, and St. Cloud being in Osceola County and Orlando being over in Orange County for the most part. So you kind of need to know a little bit of both, just because of the fact that the school district, the taxes, they go through the county, they don't really go through the city. But most people obviously recognize the cities more than they'll really look into the counties, which is why I make that distinction there. So here it is, Boggy Creek Road. Now we've crossed over into Osceola County and St. Cloud, which is where most of, or really all of Sunbridge is right now. Eventually it will expand into Orlando. So that'll be interesting to see how the school districts work out there, just because of the fact that in Florida, at least in Central Florida, the school districts are governed at the county level. So it might be a bit interesting just to kind of see how that goes for residents that are living there over time. But that said, I do want to point out, as we drive through here, you see a lot of established neighborhoods, and when we drive down Cerrillos Drive, you'll see that there's some other neighborhoods that have already been built out. Some of them on Narcoossee are a little bit older. Most of the ones, or really all the ones down Cerrillos, are pretty much all brand new. And I like to talk a little bit about that, just because of the fact that most residents over the last few years who wanted to live in Lake Nona, some of them decided that maybe going south of Boggy Creek into St. Cloud, this area here, would be a better option, really, honestly, because of the prices. I mean, you can easily save $100,000 by crossing that road there. The major drawback is obviously just access. It's just a bit longer to get over to the 417 or anything that's up and down Narcoossee Road. And then the other thing that happens is that the intersection over at Narcoossee and Boggy Creek is just a bottleneck. This is one of the only real ways that any resident that lives in St. Cloud and works up in Orlando has to get outside of going all the way around using the 417 and then the turnpike to get over into St. Cloud. So this is pretty much the main way to go, which makes it so that it can get very congested during high traffic hours. Now, another thing I want to point out here is that when Hurricane Ann happened last year, this road did flood, which made it a really difficult for residents to get in and out of the neighborhood, basically having to use back roads, which really just made it, a lot tougher, added like maybe 10, 15 extra minutes to anywhere they were going. But, in that corner there too, we're going to be getting, they're going to be getting a Publix fairly soon, and they're going to, make improvements. That's really, rumor right now that they're wanting to make improvements so that doesn't happen again. To be fair, Ann was kind of a unique character, definitely something that, very rare for that much rain to come down in Central Florida. But nevertheless, it's something that they are working on. All right, driving through here, you'll see that on the right you have Split Oak Estates. Behind it you have Split Oak Reserve. And then on the left you have another brand new community by Lennar Homes. And then you got a couple other ones back here too by different various builders.
Okay, so driving down Cyrillus Road, you can clearly see that there are some neighborhoods both to the left and right on the way down to Sunbridge. Now, some of these neighborhoods are still selling their brand new homes. There's still an opportunity to buy in there. More important than that though, in some of these back roads and all the way down to Arcusi, there are tons of brand new construction neighborhoods that are still actively selling, and plenty of well-established neighborhoods where there are homes that are coming on the market. The reason this is important is because Sunbridge is a bit more expensive than a lot of these neighborhoods that are just down the road a few minutes away from Sunbridge and everything that they're going to be bringing into the area. It's not as expensive as Lake Nona, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can get more for your money by just stepping outside of Sunbridge and checking out some of these neighborhoods. Now, to be able to really find the right fit for you, for your family, it'd be best if you do reach out, and that way we can get an idea of what's important to you, what's important to your family, and really be able to help you find the exact place that would make sense for you and you can really call home. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and drive down, head over to the base camp to see exactly what they have going on there.
All right, so now we're here officially over at Sunbridge. You can see their little logo right here. That's how you know. And then we're gonna be turning left here over to the Sunbridge base camp, which is an information area. You have a couple trails. You have a nice like green area. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what all that looks like.
So one of the cool things about this base camp right here is they actually host events here. They'll bring food trucks out here. I believe they have yoga on every Sunday. So right now, I mean, some of the activities they're bringing out here are fairly limited because, well, I mean, they only have 2 communities right now that they have built out with residents in them. And the communities already offer a lot. And then there's also like all of Lake Nona and then the rest of Orlando that definitely keep people pretty entertained and giving them something to do. But again, it's one of those nice little perks, one of those advantages that you get by living here is the fact that there is a true active community that wants to really bring people together, and this is one of the areas where they do that. So let's go ahead and just kind of show you around. Okay, so again, here's a little bit more of this area. You got this nice grand oak tree in front of me. You can see you could easily plop here and have a nice picnic with your family, bring some friends around, bring a frisbee out, bring some kites. Definitely plenty to do outdoors. Like behind me, you even got some tables back here. Nice little gazebo. Oh yeah, plenty of room here. So I think the word of the day, or at least the word that really should at least capture where Sunbridge is now or how things are going right now is early. Now, again, I mean, that might feel like a bit disappointing, especially with all the things that they have promised that they're gonna bring here. But one important thing to keep in mind is that was the same thing for Lake Nona, and there are so many residents in Orlando that are kicking themselves for not moving in there sooner rather than later, because right now it's near next to impossible. I mean, affordability has been a challenge for Lake Nona. Doesn't mean that homes aren't selling there. They definitely are. I mean, people are still buying. That's how popular the area is. But this Sunbridge here is actually developed by the same developer, and they, have made, had followed through with a lot of their plans and are continually doing so over in Lake Nona. So here, I mean, you can expect that they're gonna do a lot of the same, in fact, more, because this is gonna be, I mean, at least 3 times as big. The scale is much larger. There's a whole lot that's coming to the area. So, I mean, yes, it is early now, but that doesn't mean that there aren't things to come relatively soon. So right behind me, we have actually one of the 2 trails over in Sunbridge. Again, it kind of is keeping with their promise, their theme. Something that you can see on their website is that they say that, connecting with nature, being outdoor in nature shouldn't be a once in a while luxury. And they've made, they're trying to keep true to that promise to be able to deliver on that by having something like this just about everywhere. They have it in the neighborhoods, and they also have it right here. So let's take a quick look at what that looks like. Okay, so I'm walking through this trail here, and I have to say, it's not bad. It's nice to be outdoors. I was expecting a
little bit more of large, huge oak trees. But again, this is just one trail, and this is a 30 to 50 year project. They have a lot in store for Sunbridge area, and there are some other unique factors that definitely make this a bit different than what Wekiva Park would have to offer, or living in Apopka, or living in near any of those areas that have just a lot more of the outdoor stuff.
Okay, so that gives you an idea of what's at base camp. In all reality, I mean, it's basically a launch pad for everything that has to do with Sunbridge. You know, they have trails, which is pretty great. I mean, you can go hiking there. You also have plenty of gathering space. You know, they have get-togethers every once in a while. But aside of that, they also have the yurts, which we didn't get a chance to go into, which is the information center. And in all reality, a lot of what they'll tell you at the information center is the same information that you can find on the website that Tavistock has officially released. Now, let's go ahead and shift gears and take a look at some of the more exciting projects that they have coming to the area.
Right now, I'm standing in front of what's coined and called the Big Dig. It's one of the most anticipated projects over in Sunbridge. It's going to be the Marina Village right behind me. It's where it's going to be located. You can see that the water's already there. It's going to give a great view. It's going to be a great centerpiece to the area. It'll bring shopping, dining, and entertainment to the area, right just a couple minutes away to the residents, which means they won't have to head up and down Narcoossee fighting traffic for any of that. So I'm sure that most people that are even living here now and the ones that are to come will really enjoy and the value that this brings to the area. And just to show you how close it is to the current age-restricted neighborhood, you have Weslyn Park right behind me. It's right there. It's just a few minutes away. So, I mean, again, it's something that many of the residents here can definitely look forward to.
Okay, so another neat thing I want to show you that really is off their website, and it'll help you kind of understand and see a little bit more of the vision of they have for Sunbridge, is this interactive map that'll show you the Marina Village and some of the other projects that they have.
All right, so this is where we were over at base camp. Just now, I was standing right about here, showing you the site of the Marina Village. And just to get a peek or get a view of what the envision is for Marina Village. And this is information you can get right off of their website. You can take a look at these same photos. So you can see that clearly they want people to come out. They want people to be able to enjoy their time and have this great view of the water. Now, another thing they have coming is the K-8 school, which will be right in the Weslyn Park neighborhood. And that's slated to open in 2024. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and actually go take a look at the Weslyn Park neighborhood. Okay, so here we are entering Weslyn Park, non-age restricted community in the area. So if you're buying in Sunbridge, this is where you'd be going. As we drive through, one of the things I want to point out is that this neighborhood does have a similar feel and look to Loria Park over in Lake Nona, which makes sense because the developer that developed, Lake Nona is the same one working on Sunbridge. So you're gonna get a lot of that same feeling, a lot of the same builders, quality, style. There are some obvious differences because it is a different community with a different mindset and goal in place. But I mean, you can clearly see that, it's going to be very similar. Now, as we go through, you'll see that there's still a lot of construction going on in the area. A lot of new homes being built out. And so, if you do buy here, just, that's something that, as far as expectations go, to keep in mind that you're going to be seeing a lot of this for maybe a few years, maybe a year and a half in your immediate area with the homes they're building around you. But slowly but surely, as they open up new phases to the community, you'll see less of it, directly right next to where you are. All right, well, let's go ahead and check out the area where all the models are. Okay, so right now we are over in Weslyn Park, and right behind me is one of the models for Ashton Wood, and we are going to go ahead and take a quick peek at what that looks like inside. But more important than that, what I want to show you is the detached garage and the apartment upstairs, which is huge, because with that you can easily subsidize your mortgage if you wanted to rent that out. It's what people over in Lauria Park are doing, and I mean it's not something that you find too commonly. So every time I see one, I always like to check it out and see what it looks like. So right behind me, you can see that this is a complete apartment with kitchen. You have you have a full restroom there with a shower and everything. You have a bedroom, all of it. And this is really much nicer than the majority of apartments, the average apartment here in Florida. So I mean, easily if you bought a home like this, added the upstairs apartment over the garage, I mean, this is easily something that you can rent out. It could be an in-law suite, something you can save for guests. It could be a game room, entertaining area, man cave or woman cave, whatever. I mean, it's just a great add-on, definitely worth the add-on for sure. Okay, so that's a pretty great apartment that I wanted to show you. Now, I didn't take a full tour of the model home, but I wanted to give you an idea for what the aesthetic is, what the general feel is for the interior of some of the homes there. We kind of walked through one of them, but more important than that, I mean, a lot of these homes, really all of these homes over in Weslyn Park are built very different than Sunbridge, and really different than how many of the homes are built in Central Florida. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, because I think if you're buying in that neighborhood, you should really have a good foundation, a good idea of how the homes are built. All right, so this is the inside downstairs. This is what you can expect out of this particular model here. You can see it's very modern, open concept, right? Kitchen opens up right into the living space. Take a quick look back here. Into the master. I definitely would say this is a very cozy home. Space has been used very well. Check out the bathroom here. Double vanity. And then take a quick look at the shower over here. Shop full of upgrades, so this is just one of the models in this neighborhood. Okay. One of the things I do want to point out about this community, and really what the plan is for much of Sunbridge, is the fact that you see behind me this home being built. It doesn't have the concrete block at the bottom, which is very typical here in Florida. And the only neighborhood right now that has it over in Sunbridge is the age-restricted one, Webb. They do have the concrete blocks. This one does not, and I think for a lot of people moving here, one of the concerns is whether or not it's safe. Well, here's the reality. I mean, much of the U.S., anything honestly north of Jacksonville, at least on this side of the U.S., I do know for a fact that this is typically what you do get when you're building homes. And I mean, this one right here, these are the ones around me, Weslyn Park, they've already been through 2 hurricanes, and that's before you've had the siding and everything else put on. Just a little bit background of this whole process. Honestly, they do the plumbing, they do the monolithic slab, which is just one piece, one slab across, and then they start putting they bolt down the siding about 24 inches, and then they bolt the upstairs to that. So again, it's very stable. On top of that, they also put the waterproofing wrap around it, and even adding to the sustainability, adding to the protection and coverage the home has, you get the concrete deposit siding, which I'll go ahead and show you right now. All right, so this is the concrete composite on the side. Definitely will keep termites away, definitely will protect your home. It's a lot more sustainable, a lot more durable. It won't crack like the stucco you have all around here in Florida. So again, this is a bit of a higher end, higher quality product for sure. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea of what the homes are like over in Weslyn Park, and really what the plan is for much of Sunbridge. Now, the other community that is over in Sunbridge is an active adult, 55 plus
age-restricted community, Del Webb. And I mean, it's a pretty amazing community. From what I've heard from many of the clients that have already bought there, is that it is very active. I mean, that whole idea of an active lifestyle community is exactly what this neighborhood encapsulates. I mean, they have get-togethers, they have parties. I mean, people are constantly connecting with each other. And I think it's one of those things that, you know, it's hard to really understand unless you really live there. But one thing is for sure that, I mean, the essence of being social, being connected in a community definitely is woven in the fabric of everything that they do there. Now, the centerpiece for that really is their community center. I mean, it has pretty much everything that you can imagine. I mean, they have a restaurant, they have a bar, they have, you know, a gathering area, they have a resort style pool, they have a full fitness center, a whole gym. And those are just a couple of things. They have racquetball, they have tennis. So again, I mean, you don't really have to leave the community to find any kind of entertainment, fitness, anything like that, because a lot of these people that live there already are finding almost everything they need within the gates of the community. Now, of course, Sunbridge is still a community that is coming together. However, if you'd like to see something similar that is already 15 years into its project, you're gonna wanna watch this video here next.